Yes, you can go now.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome in a cold winter morning. We have today with us Faculty of Design, and we're going to be having two presentations today. That's going to include Masters in Design and Furniture Design and Masters in Design in Building Products and Systems. They'll be led or taken forward by Professor Kaulav Bhagat and Professor Anand Bele. I would request first Professor Kaulav to kickstart the presentation. Professor Kaulav, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Kinjal, and good morning, everyone. This is our this video, and this is the first time we have introduced this winter exhibition online. Otherwise, you would have come to Ahmedabad and enjoy nice winter morning and evening with us, and would have a nice time at campus. But that will be in the next, I think, cycle, and we are hopeful for that. So today I'm going to talk about our Master of Furniture Design program and the work of students and overall pedagogy of the furniture design and the semester which we have just completed. So I will just share the screen, and then I will talk about the program first as a overall, and then go to the specific of studio. Yeah. Okay, so a furniture design program at SEPT is 2 years master's program where students from all across India join, and this is the work of first year and first semester students. They're largely the background of the students are architecture, design, and engineering. So they come from the various background. Now, the furniture design program really, in these 2 years, we emphasize largely upon to start with the skill building for the furniture design, the fundamental skill building, which starts in first semester, working with a very simple design problems, and then going forward in second semester, we talk about furniture for a little complex in terms of looking at the furniture for interiors. Then the third semester talks about furniture for outdoor, which talks about more to do with outdoor environment, outdoor issues, and a larger public scale projects. And the final semester really talks about the system design, where we really look at the complex problem which students solve using systems thinking and system design approach, and where they select their own projects, so that they can learn how to deal with the real situation when they go out in the field. Apart from that, in the furniture design program, we have a subjects which talks about furniture history, user centric design, design management, etc. And to build their hands on skill, we have a workshop related courses where they learn how to work with material like wood, metal, and other material, which is a current kind of or maybe industrial use they can really make themselves equipped with. So this is largely a kind of a pedagogy of the furniture design uh, master's program. Now, the right now what I'm just presenting is a quickly I'm just showing a first semester studio work where students have just joined in, and this is a unique studio, as in this entire studio happened online. We have not met students personally, but everything happens online, and there are challenges, but then we have successfully overcome those challenges and come up with a very good solutions, I can say that. So these studios talk about the fundamentals of furniture, which is largely to do with structure, geometry, materials, and applying those to the understanding of furniture. In this, we have also kept a certain theory based also, where students can make themselves aware that it's not only about making, but theoretically also furniture can be looked at. So we generally take helps of certain kinds of literature, like this David Pye book, The Nature and Aesthetics of Design, where he talks about simple design principles and the requirements of design, and where he talks about uh, how any device or an object can be designed and put into use. And largely it talks about uh, a kind of a structure, geometry, energy, relationship between structure and geometry, which we generally do in the studio. uh, in terms of exercises, we started with very interesting exercise where they have to study the structure in the natural habitat, in the sense that any animal or bird natural habitat, they have to study and understand the structural principles, how in nature we can see the structure. So they've done it through diagrams, study a lot of pictures, interesting diagrams, and it comes out really interesting to look at. And they got some experience about what is a structure in nature, because nature builds it very effectively, and that is all about sustainability. The second exercise, we gave them a very simple wooden stool and told them to do a optimization of material in that particular uh, that particular stool, where they may not change the complete form of the stool, but where possible they reduce the material but keep the strength of the stool intact. So that's the second exercise. So they start looking at furniture really more closely. The third exercise talks about doing measure drawing of existing furniture. In this case, since it was online, they find a furniture piece around them, maybe at home, maybe somewhere in the vicinity and neighborhood, and they have to really do the measure draw of that chair and draw a full scale drawing, which means 1:1 scale furniture drawing they have to uh, draw here. And by that, they understand the entire detail of furniture, dimension, complexity of joinery, and all those things. So, and they really get equipped with a drawing. uh, Fourth, and that is the main exercise, what we did this time is we gave them a very iconic architects and their work to study. And these architects largely work with uh, the whole concept of structure, material, and geometry. And then from this architect's work, they have to really extract the principles of that architect and then translate into making a very simple furniture, which is a stool. So each uh, student got one architect, and like architect like Renzo Piano, Calatrava, Ujjon, Flix Candela, Navi, Fry Otto, etc. And they have to really study their work. They have to really see the principles, how they have work with the structure, how they work with material, and then they convert uh, that whole thing into furniture. So these are some of the outcome. Like this is Fry Otto and Shigeru Ban's combined work, where they talk about grid shell structure, and using a grid shell structure, this student has created a simple stool. The another this project is she studied Renzo piano and Paul Klee museum she has studied, and using the arch as a main structural element, she created this stool. These are some of the exploration models they made in the entire journey of the semester. uh, Drawing, sketches, exploratory model, 1:5 scale models. And these student made you worked with Calatrava's principle. One of the Calatrava's Swiss railway station, he took it, and then he studied the whole principle of cantilever structure with a very minimum support and very elegant structure, and he made this tool into in a wood. Another girl studied a whole idea of catenary structure, and then using that principle, she made a very simple wire and or a rod stool. Another girl studied Dealer's Coffidio's work, their actually installations, and then she come up with a very interesting cantilever stool using little complex system, but she really did a good job in that. So these are some of the example. You can see the drawings, very detailed component drawings, detailed explorations of models, ergonomic studies, some models, some prototypes. So even what is challenging here for us in online and as a furniture design discipline, that we always emphasize on hands-on working starting from first semester onwards, and in online we couldn't do it, but we really help them that in the neighborhood or in the city somewhere wherever they are, they can really go to that particular person, explain their project, and work with them, get the prototype done. So it is really amazing that all students really found out people there in the city who can help them making their prototype, and they every student has come up with uh, a prototype. So yeah, that is the pedagogy I can. So these are some of the projects uh, I can show you. Yeah, so this is another tool. So I'll just finish in 1 or 2 minutes, then I share another studio with you. It's taking time. Yeah, so this is another student's work where he studied Buckminster Fuller as an architect, and really understood the whole idea of tensegrity as a principle of structure, and then come up with this interesting stool. These are his initial study of that uh, nature structure in nature. Then some of the drawing. Yeah, this is a study. So how they have studied with the drawing, diagrams, understanding of materials, uh, structure, grid, purpose of structure, what is the principle. Uh, yes, these are explorations, models, lot of models he made, small scale, big model with PVC pipe, threads, uh, yeah, and then going into the final, then made a drawing, joineries, uh, and then final. This is still like can be worked upon, but this is the level of work, that kind of an intense rigor kind of a work we generally would like the first semester students to do, so that they can really get the whole fundamentals correct when they go forward into their future studios. So yeah, let's go back to. mm,
Interesting works here, caller indeed.
yeah, thank you. So yeah, we are trying, but like in this even in this online they have really done so much, so we are very grateful to students, in fact.
I
that they
understand.
put in a lot of effort to understand the subject.
Hmm.
uh, it takes little time, no, to open.
Yes,
Mm, okay,
perhaps
no problem.
because of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
internet speed. That's okay. That's not a
No
problem.
problem. Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay. So this is another student's work. So I just mention that even so in the first semester they have we have actually four disciplines in master, three disciplines in masters. One is furniture, building products, and interior design. So in first semester we put all three disciplines together for a period of 4 weeks, where they do basic exercise to build their skill. The That means the skills of drawing, skills of sketching, skills of understanding the fundamentals of design, and skill of making things. So these are the basically some of the initial exercises which they have done it, which we call it first exercise we call it object tree, where they have to select a very simple palm size object, and they draw it first as it is. Then they open it to understand the basic kind of a mm, uh, principles of the object, how it is made, how it functions, what is the really how this object works. And so they open it, they draw it, they measure it, they draw exploded views, they do a lot of kind of a research on the object. So that is the first exercise. And second exercise, we told them to make a very simple display stand for a magazine, using a given kit of material, which is wood, metal, sheet metal. And they come up, either they can come up with a fixture which fixed to the wall, or floor standing, or hanging from the ceiling. And they have also, we help them really to from a campus, that they send us a drawing and we help them here to understand the nitty gritty and detail from the workshop. So it's kind of a live kind of a relay from a workshop, that whatever they need to understand as a technique we showed them. And that helps really to the students. So it's not just a very virtual or a very conceptual exercise, but it is meaningful in terms of that they how they can plan of how they can plan the entire making sequence of any object. So yeah, that is the initial two exercises, and then they go into their thing. So she work with understanding Renzo Piano's work, and then come up with the structure and explorations of for the stool. And she used wood and metal, a kind of a curved kind of a wooden legs with a metal seat, joinery details, exploration, then making with real material from nearby their places, really at home, near to their home. And then yeah, so this is the final outcome. So at least this much understanding we gave them to start the furniture design program, and that is really important for any students to understand. Yeah. So okay, so after this, so I would like to go into quickly in the third semester uh, project. That is also I was part of as a tutor, co-tutor, and Anand sir, our dean, he was a master tutor. Sir is here, but sir, would I?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Hello, Professor Anand. Thank you so much for joining in. As Olive is going ahead with the third sem, he would then be asking you to take over, and we are waiting for you to start
Sure,
as well.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Olive,
I'll
please
just
continue.
yeah, yeah, I'll continue. So I'll just go to the studio. Oh, how can okay? Let's go to program.
Hemant, could you assist Professor Kaulav here, please?
It's not, this thing is not coming. All programs, I just want to go to the,
Yeah, you might have to go to the main site again,
I have
Kaulav.
to do,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. I
please
am
have to do
thinking,
that. Yeah.
yeah, wait. Okay, so again, go back to design, then furniture design. Okay, so this is another program. Okay, so this is the third semester studio. So it's a senior studio a bit, where we were focusing upon furniture for outdoor spaces, and specifically we kept the environment or a context which is of a residential complexes or a gated community, like a large kind of a townships or a cluster of apartment buildings, and there you have to design a outdoor furniture, and that is a seating like benches or sit out or different functions or different forms of seat basically. So here, since it is a little senior studio, they have a understanding of drawings, materials, basic understanding. Now the approach what we have kept here is completely focused on a mass or a batch manufacturing processes for furniture, because that is how this furniture can be multiplied and can be then put it into this context of outdoor spaces of residential complexes, or for that matter any other than environment. So our main focus was on manufacturing volume, techniques, tolerances, possibility of using material, assembly and sub assembly of on-site, off-site, detailed definition, structural characteristics, uh, environmental performances, because it's a outdoor, so they have to really see the weather conditions, sun, wind, vandalism, maintenance, cleanliness, all those things, life cycle of the product because it should last longer, and finally the aesthetic potential or a form of the uh, uh, furniture. So that is the main aspect of the studio. We started with a very simple exercises that they really look at the furniture or a product which is outdoor in nature around them, and they measure draw them so that they understand the scale of outdoor furniture, the material of which people are using in outdoor product, and a kind of a function of the product in outdoor. So somebody really took a hand pump, very old hand pump, and it's an interesting product actually, by a casting as a very basic kind of a manufacturing process, and through that you can really make in a very wonderful form, very retro kind of a form, which now we can see. Then we told them to take select outdoor furniture from a given source, like from a internet or from a book, and they really have to imagine and guess the size, the detail, construction, material, all those things they have to guess, and then they have to draw. So initial these two exercise made them aware about the outdoor furniture and their real issues, because we were discussing with them constantly what is outdoor. Then they really went into finding it out the opportunity in their particular vicinity again, since it is online. So we told them, you go around, you see how people are using outdoor spaces and what is the real need for outdoor furniture. So they come up with certain kind of briefs, and we give them a certain approaches to find out all these things, like an opportunity to which is not existing, so new, completely new idea. Then there is an application of new technology, so maybe idea maybe is there, but now you apply new technology, a new meaning to a product. So product is there, but you are really giving a new meaning to a product, and you are proposing a new material to an existing product. So these are approaches we discuss with them, and based on that they come up with a, brief. So we have around 10 students, and they come up with a very different brief. So some student come up with a brief that in outdoor, most of the time kids come from a school, and in outdoor they want to study or do some kind of a group project, because friends want to get together in open, so they can really study there. So that is one of the brief. The another girl really took outdoor exercising or before jogging, and that also used as a some kind of a seat near the jogging track in a residential complexes. So this is that project. One girl just took a very formal kind of an approach, where she created an interesting form using casting as a technique, both casting of concrete and casting of metal, which is cast iron, ductile iron rather. So she really made a furniture where people can just come and sit, irrespective of what whosoever they are, like not really going into very specific, but it's an interesting piece of furniture where one can just sit and talk and chat, and they don't even realize that, because it's a very nice, very cantilever furniture, uh, very minimum that way. One girl really took rocking chair, outdoor rocking chair as a uh, issue. Then another student really use outdoor waiting space when students or kids go for their school, waiting for their bus, or some office goer waiting for their bus or a car to come, and all those things. So they've really gone into those kind of issues. So these are students work. uh, so I'll just show you few. This girl really took a challenge of converting very complex geometrical form of hyperbola parabolic form, you and converting into a rocking chair, which can be used in outdoor because it's all metal, very minimum structure, and very rigid. It can withstand environment, kind of all weather proof kind of a chair. Okay, yeah. So this is how she started. This she studied boat as an outdoor product, and very interesting because she comes from a very coastal area of Maharashtra, place called Dapoli. Uh, then she studied this furniture, and she was really interested and inspired by the form of a furniture. And then she go went into really creating this rocking chair, and she made lots and lots of models to understand the principle, and finally come up with this product, a good 3D skill. And she understood the manufacturing process. She couldn't here they couldn't make it because the scale of the product was large, but she understood how things can be made, and that is the whole idea and the main objective of the studio, where one is to really see the manufacturing processes. Yeah, so these are some of the models, explorations, and all. uh, then this girl used a very interesting fusion of material like stone and kind of a metal section, which is I section, and she come up with a furniture where students, teenagers can come together, they can sit, talk, work together, they can do their projects together, something like that. Mm. She was based at Bangalore, and therefore the whole idea of a local material, one local material, which is a stone and a granite, which is available in abundance there in that particular region, and she tried to use that material with a industrial material, and then she come up with a very interesting solution. uh, So yeah, he studied this chair earlier, and then these are some of the examples he studied. And she had a very good kind of way of exploring things, a good sketching abilities. And we generally, as a furniture design program, we emphasize on this kind of a skill set, and we build that skill set so that all students can visualize their product very quickly, and they did not to depend on the always depend on the computer generated images. So these are the some of the explorations. These are the drawings. This is a kind of a big heavy stone block, and then the cantilever tabletop. Yeah, so some of the details, exploded views. We emphasize on making these are real kind of a 3D images she made using computer, and different possible orientation and things where they can. She also kept interesting thing in mind that if somebody is in wheelchair, how this furniture can be used. So one side of the furniture is cantilever, and therefore the wheelchair can really go into one can use it easily. You can see in the image. So even she thought about a kind of a really challenge disabled or a challenging people who can, they can also join and use the furniture, so no distinguish between people. And these are some of the exploration using model. They made a lot of models this time sitting at home. Yeah, so these are, so yeah, in a one can really, so this is the kind of a website which is already created. Each student's work is there, and one can
Yes.
go individually, really go into detail, understand the program and a studio, and you can evaluate for yourself. Yeah. So I
Thank
think,
you. Thank you, Professor Kolev, for that
yeah, Kimball.
insightful details that you've shared with us. I would now request Professor Anand to go ahead.
So should I stop sharing?
Yes. One second.
Okay.
Professor Anand, would you want Kolev to share it for you, or would you do it?
No, Kavlav has covered most of the studio. I would just like to thank him firstly for doing a wonderful job of explaining everything. I just wanted to add one point that I think was left out, and that was, in the third week, we had, after the approach towards design exercise, we had given the students a very interesting um, exercise of doing 50 sketches of intuitive design ideas for the selected design problem. Now, this was a very interesting exercise because they have already done 2 semesters and architecture or design or interior design before joining SEP.
Hmm.
So, in some ways, they are designers already. And we thought that, it was a very important step to illustrate and demonstrate as to how intuitive design is slightly different from a research based design. So, when they selected the problem, we said, okay, in the next so and so time, come out with 50 sketches. So they really came out with 50 sketches each for the selected design problem or defined problem. And then we said, okay, let's discuss each one of them. And then we talked about also the design approaches, and here the research started actually. Each student has done tremendous amount of research before going ahead with any kind of conceptualization. So we wanted to illustrate to them that, hey, listen, before the research, with your intuition, this is the solution. And this is tomorrow when you are in the profession, many times there is a combination of intuitive design as well as research based design, because with experience, your palette of research also increases, right? and you have done certain things before, and so your research is fast. So we wanted to demonstrate them that what is going to happen also in the real life world, that people are going to push you that, hey, listen, here is the design problem, in the next 15 days I want to design solution. Then you don't have time, like in a studio situation, to really do a very thorough research. But your abilities to research the problem, and the abilities to or your sensitivities to human centered design, or your sensitivities towards approach. Let's say you have a client tomorrow who is an injection molding manufacturer, or a casting company, and they approach you for designing outdoor furniture for them. Then it also has constraints. So this approach towards design from a particular perspective is also very important, because then you are also having a certain constraint that, hey, listen, I am catering to a client who has a foundry, who has certain technology. That technology has certain limitations, it has certain advantages, and how do I do a research about all of them and I give a fitting solution, so that all the basic things like ergonomics, the user, who is always the center of the universe in design, yeah, the user is the hero, right? So we have enhanced in this studio that the students appreciate, and then they are concerned about the user. So though we are saying that this studio concentrates more on the abilities to uh, take the design from the concept stage towards the stage of manufacturing, or in design we say uh, that, we need the viability and the feasibility also very well studied, and each student should have some opportunity to explore the feasibility and the viability of the solutions. So the viability part we'll be doing in next semester, but this semester we have, I think, touched upon the feasibility part, where the designer has designed something and it is for somebody very important, the research. And then somebody, like one student is from Calcutta, she had done that hand pump as Kaula had explained earlier. So she had already done certain research about castings, about foundries, the principles of the technology, the limitations of the technology. So when she approached the design, she had in her mind that, hey, listen, I am doing this for probably a foundry. And so her approach towards problem solving was a slightly different one than somebody who took, let's say, there was this girl who did something for Nike. There was a exercise furniture for Nike. So in her mind, she had Nike as a client, and Nike is giving away this furniture to residential complexes and gated communities, with an understanding that their logo and their branding would happen. So there was a different take over there. But the girl who has done casting as as the main technology, her approach was different. But we made sure that all of them had a strong research oriented approach towards problem solving. And no matter what kind of somebody has done something in stone, and a student from Jaipur has done in stone carving and rocking of a two-seater bench, and she comes from Jaipur. So, she could go locally and study the stone technology. She could understand the constraints as to what do you deal with when you are making furniture with stone. How do you lift a stone? What should be the dimension? What should be the weight? How do you bring in stability in stone furniture? So, the basic things that all furniture designers need to know are the structure, the construction, the material, the manufacturing process, and last but not the least, everything that relates to the user, where we call it as a human centered approach, right? So we have tried our best in this studio, and we are quite happy that the students, though they were online with us, they have put in enormous efforts to realize all these goals that we had tried to achieve through the studios and which we had defined at the onset. Yeah. Yeah. With this, I will stop, I guess. Kavlav, would you like to add something to it, please?
No, sir, I think most all of this thing gets covered. I think those who are looking, watching this live and otherwise, they can really go to our exhibition website and they can see our studios, MBPS, other studios, interior design studios, or other faculty of design studios to really see how SEPT is taking the architecture and design education to the next level.
Thank you so much, Professor Caller. Thank you so much, Professor Anand. Definitely, I would suggest everyone, especially the students who are, wanting to come or job, be part of SEPT University, to take a look at this website, because I think this kind of work and modeling at home, and then working on the actual products. With the online, with the pandemic pushing us in the online world, I think it's been very difficult for students, but they've done a fantastic job. It's
Yeah.
definitely an eye opener for me as well to sit in. If instead of scribbling, I might as well do something like this. So it's fantastic work. Thank you so much for sharing the projects, for sharing information. We would want our participants and audience to have a look at the website and understand how students have worked on these products. Thank you so much.
Thank, thank
Thanks,
you,
Kinjal.
Kinjal.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone, to
you,
give
Kavlav.
this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.